Heartwarming truth revealed, Black Nanny's incredible discovery on Billionaire Heiress's 10-year journey. Clara's heart raced that morning. The sun spilled golden light across the luxurious Harrington estate, but she couldn't let its gleam distract her from the day's tasks. As the morning aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air, Clara thought of her son, Marcus, still asleep in their small apartment. She yearned to give him the world, but for now, she was the steady hand for her boss's daughter, Lily. Little did she know, this day would change everything. "Miss Clara." Lily's excited voice broke into her thoughts. There she stood, a whirlwind of energy and enthusiasm, ready for ballet class. In a sea of sparkling tutus and gleaming hardwood floors, Clara felt a pang of nostalgia. She had once dreamed of dancing too, twirling beneath the stage lights. Instead, she had chosen a different path, one that now led her into the whirlwind of privilege. But as she zipped Lily's ballet bag, she felt a familiar warmth across her chest. The love they shared was more valuable than any diamond. After class, they walked hand in hand through petaled gardens, discussing the beauty of the world outside their bubble. "You know, Clara, my mom always says that you're the reason I'm not a brat," Lily giggled, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Clara chuckled, feeling tears well in her eyes. "You can say that again, sweetie." The bond they shared was something deeper than nanny and child. It was friendship, built on laughter and lessons. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The day took a sharp turn when the Harringtons received that phone call, the kind you dread, the kind that fractures the calm veneer of life. Clara watched as Lily's parents turned pale, the news carrying whispers of long-guarded secrets. Suddenly, the idyllic world they had built sparkled like a mirage, ready to shatter. What was happening to the family she had come to love? And why did it feel so personal, digging at the history Clara had kept hidden deep within her? As the weeks passed, Lily's life turned tumultuous. The stories unfolded, tales of her real mother who had wandered far beyond the lavish walls of their home. Clara found herself thrust deeper into Lily's world, becoming a balm for both their wounded souls. It hurt to know that in the world outside, status dictated love. The weight of economic inequalities pressed against Clara's chest, blending with the tragic story of Lily's birth mother, rippling through the enchantment that had once colored their days. Standing in the kitchen one evening, Clara caught her breath as Lily mentioned her dream of dancing on Broadway. Would the world understand Lily's worth, not defined by her capital, but by her character? Clara felt that familiar ache again. Could she inspire humility in the midst of grandeur? And just when Clara was ready to share her own dreams with Lily, a realization hit her with the force of a thunderclap. Their fates were intertwined in a way she had never anticipated. A truth waiting to be unearthed, a truth that could bridge the gap between their realities and heal old wounds that had long been festering. As silence fell over the kitchen, Clara knew the storm was brewing, and she was just beginning to fight for not only Lily's future but her own as well. Would tomorrow bring the resolution they both so desperately needed, or would the injustices of the past dictate their lives forever? The morning sun peeked through the sprawling windows of the Harrington estate, casting gentle rays over the kitchen table where Clara sat deep in thought. The aroma of breakfast lingered in the air, but her appetite was nowhere to be found. Today felt different, charged with an energy she couldn't shake off. As she stirred her coffee absent-mindedly, her mind raced back to Lily's dream of Broadway. Could they find a way to make it real despite the storm brewing around them? Clara glanced at Lily, who sat across from her, feverishly flipping through a magazine filled with images of stars dancing under bright lights. The child's eyes sparkled with ambition. "Miss Clara, do you think I could really do it? Do you think I could dance on that stage?" Lily's voice trembled with hope. Clara smiled, but a tinge of worry gnawed at her. "Sweetheart, you can be anything you want to be," she replied, her voice steady. The truth, however, felt wrapped in uncertainty, and she couldn't shake off the weight of the family's looming secrets. As they cleaned up breakfast, Clara's focus shifted to the family dynamics around them. The Harringtons were uncharacteristically quiet, tension thick enough to cut through. Just last night, Clara had overheard whispers of financial trouble. It tore at her heart to see the family she loved so dearly caught in the web of privilege and arrogance. It echoed eerily with her own struggles. She hadn't climbed the ranks of society without scars. Their tranquil moment shattered when the front door swung open, and Mr. Harrington stormed in, his face drawn and anxious. "Clara, have you seen Lily?" His voice was sharp, echoing off the walls. "I'm right here, Dad," Lily replied, popping her head up from behind the couch. Clara noticed the cringe that crossed Mr. Harrington's face. The distance between father and daughter felt insurmountable. "It's time to go," he said abruptly, the weight of his words heavy in the air. Clara sensed urgency, but beneath it lay something darker. Unspoken fears lingered like shadows. When they piled into the car, Clara sat quietly, bracing for the news that would surely rock their already fragile world. The drive felt longer than usual, each tick of the clock amplifying Clara's anxiety. What lay ahead? How could they maneuver this storm? As they arrived at the local theater, chills ran down Clara's spine. Had Lily's dreams led them here? She held the girl's hand tightly as they walked inside, surrounded by the buzz of performers warming up. The atmosphere was intoxicating, filled with excitement and creative energy. For a second, Clara's troubles faded. This was the life Lily craved, a world where nothing else mattered but expression and dreams. An unexpected figure approached them, a tall woman with a graceful presence, her smile warm yet enigmatic. "Hello, I'm Sarah Blake, director of the upcoming musical. I've been hearing about your talent, Lily." The moment hung in the air, charged with possibility. Lily's face lit up, and Clara willed her heart to calm. But the deep-rooted fears lurking behind the curtain loomed larger. How could they face this new opportunity when so much was tied to the past? As they exchanged greetings, Clara caught a glimpse of Mr. Harrington, who stood silently, a storm brewing behind his composed facade. What was he hiding? The connection between dreams and reality had never felt so tenuous. Clara realized, in that moment, how vital it was for them to confront the ugly truths of their past, to step fully into the light of possibility. As they entered the world of stage lights and dreams, Clara couldn't shake the feeling that the path ahead would require bravery she wasn't sure she had. Tomorrow loomed large, and the choices made today would ripple through their lives in ways they couldn't yet imagine. Would they find the courage to navigate this intricate dance of ambition and adversity? Only time would tell. The theater buzzed with energy, a sharp contrast to the storm of emotions brewing within Clara. As they stepped further inside, the world outside seemed to fade away. The bright lights lining the stage sparkled like stars against a dusky sky. It was magic, and in all that excitement, Clara couldn't understand why anxiety continued to claw at her heart. "Miss Sarah," Lily chirped, her eyes wide, "what will I need to do?" Clara watched as the director's eyes danced over the girl's animated features, recognizing the raw talent that bubbled beneath the surface. "You have to show me what you've got." "Auditions are about showing who you are," Sarah replied, her confidence fueling Lily's dreams, sending encouragement into the room like warm sunshine. Clara leaned down, whispering, "Just be yourself, Lily. Show them your heart." The words slipped from her lips, but uncertainty crept back in. Could they keep it all together? Would their past somehow overshadow this promise of a brighter future? Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. The tightness in Mr. Harrington's jaw was more pronounced. Clara noticed him standing at the fringe of the group, arms crossed tightly. His emotions were like a murky tide threatening to swallow them whole. Clara exchanged glances with him, searching for a hint of reassurance, but all she found was a shadow of turmoil. A few moments later, a group of older kids strolled by, snickering loudly. "Look at that little girl. Broadway? Please," one of them scoffed. The laughter felt like knives, slicing through the warmth that had threaded through the air just moments ago. Clara's heart sank as she focused on Lily, who remained glued to her spot. "Forget them, Lily. They're just scared of what they're not." It was a bold sentiment, yet Clara felt more scared than ever. She was also scared of their family's precarious state of affairs creeping into this moment. What if Mr. Harrington's worries outshone Lily's dreams? "Let us practice right here," Sarah announced. Her voice cut through Clara's frantic thoughts, bringing the attention back to the stage. "Show me a dance, Lily. Just let it all go." Lily looked to Clara, seeking permission. It was that moment that solidified this opportunity, not just as a chance for Lily, but for all of them. Clara nodded, swallowing hard, pushing her fears aside. With a deep breath, Lily stepped into the spotlight. The moment she moved, it was as if everyone else faded away. Her tiny body spoke volumes as she spun and leaped, uncontained joy radiating from her. Clara felt tears prick her eyes when she noticed how the room fell silent, witnesses to something pure and beautiful, Lily's spirit sprinkling magic into the air. As she danced, Clara caught a glimpse of her father, knowing he was wrestling with his own demons. They were all bound in this tangled web, and she suddenly felt the weight of their shared struggles. When Lily finished, the applause was thunderous, echoing against the theater walls. The joy on her face was contagious. It moved Clara deeply, revealing their shared dream of breaking free from their individual burdens. For the briefest of moments, hope fluttered in Clara's heart, but when Mr. Harrington ran a hand through his hair, frustration boiling beneath the surface, Clara couldn't shake the dread settling in her stomach. His eyes darted to the exits, as if considering a retreat from the many challenges laid out before them. "Lily," Mr. Harrington said sharply, breaking the applause that surrounded them, "we need to talk." The harshness snapped Clara's heart. It was as if reality had crashed back down, threatening to smother the joy floating through the air. Lily's smile faded, replaced by uncertainty. Clara stepped forward, ready to intervene, but the glimmer of hope that had trickled in a moment ago was now swallowed by an overwhelming wave of dread. Would they be able to weather the storms that threatened to sweep away Lily's dreams? Or would the truths of their past derail them, just when they finally glimpsed the possibility of a brighter future? Clara's heart raced with the uncertainty, and just like that, she felt she was spiraling again into the unknown. Clara stepped forward, her instincts kicking in. She could see the concern carved into Lily's face and felt her own heart sink. This was supposed to be a moment of celebration, yet Mr. Harrington's tone sliced through the joy like a chilling wind. "Dad," Clara said gently, trying to bridge the widening gap. But he didn't seem to hear her. His gaze was fixed on Lily, the frustration boiling over into something deeper, a mixture of fear and protectiveness that Clara recognized all too well. "Lily, come here," he called, his voice holding a firmness that didn't invite questions. The little girl shuffled forward, her dance magic flickering like a dying flame. Clara felt a sharp pain as she watched her sister, so vibrant just moments before, now dwarfed by the weight of Mr. Harrington's looming shadows. "Why can't you just let her enjoy this? She deserves to celebrate." Clara's voice wavered, laced with desperation. She wanted to reach out and pull them both back to that moment of applause and dance, away from the harsh reality threatening to pull them under. "Because this isn't real, Clara." Mr. Harrington shot back, his eyes stormy. "It's a dream. We're not equipped for dreams, we need to focus on the real world." Lily's lips trembled, and the passion in her little eyes began to dim. "But, Dad, I want to do this," she whispered, her voice shaking. "Can't I just try?" Clara's heart ached as she recalled her own dreams, the ones pushed aside in favor of practicality, of survival. How could they stifle that flame so soon? "Every big dream starts small," she interjected softly, stepping into Mr. Harrington's line of sight. And right now, this is Lily's chance. The air became thick with tension. Mr. Harrington's brow furrowed deeply, twisting the lines of stress on his forehead. Clara knew he was trapped in his own battle, but she craved a different reaction from him, one filled with support rather than despair. "I can be the best," Lily added, her determination emerging from the depths of her disappointment. Clara felt a swell of pride, mixed with a fear that it might not be enough to convince their father. "Lily," he began, but she interrupted. "Please, Dad. I need to do this for me and for you too." The innocence in Lily's appeal sent a fresh wave of emotion through Clara. She could see it, the flicker of hope sparking in her sister's heart. Mr. Harrington's expression softened, if just slightly, and the room seemed to hold its breath. "It's not that simple," he replied, but Clara sensed a crack in his facade. "Nothing ever is," Clara said, her voice firm but gentle. She could feel the weight of the moment, a pivotal crossroad that could either shatter their already fragile resolve or bind them together stronger than ever. As Clara gazed into her father's conflicted eyes, she took a step closer. "We can't let fear drown our dreams, Dad. We've done that long enough." The world around them faded, the vibrant theater shrinking into the background noise as the family faced each other, three souls intertwined in their struggles and aspirations. Clara's heart raced. Was this the moment they needed to seize together? For a heartbeat, it felt like they could be woven back into the magic of that moment, where dreams could blossom, and fears could be faced. But just as she thought hope could bloom, she saw Mr. Harrington's jaw tighten again. When would they finally confront the past that clung to them like a shadow, preventing them from embracing hope fully? Clara knew they were at a crossroads, and unless they took a leap of faith, they might miss this chance entirely. "Can we really do this?" Clara's voice trembled, the weight of the question heavy in the air. And in that silence, she wondered, is this the moment they would decide to rise together towards their dreams, or would they again allow fear to keep them locked away from their aspirations? The silence hung between them, thick as a storm cloud ready to burst. Clara's heart pounded, each beat echoing the weight of her family's unspoken fears. Mr. Harrington shifted his gaze, finally breaking eye contact with Lily. He faced the wall, as if the bright colors of the theater could somehow shield him from the rising tensions. Clara took a deep breath, steadying herself as she struggled to see her father through the fog of confusion and worry. "Dad," she said, her voice quiet but steady. "You can't protect us by keeping us from our dreams. By wanting to shield Lily, you might be trapping her in a cage of fear." Lily's big, shining eyes searched their father's face for some sign of understanding. It broke Clara's heart to see her sister. "You always say to chase our stars, Dad. What if this is a part of that?" Mr. Harrington's shoulders drooped slightly, and for a moment, Clara thought he might listen. But the tension returned like a clap of thunder, a reminder of the practical life he held dear. "Do you know what can happen when you chase dreams?" he asked in a strained whisper, his voice riddled with memories. "People fall. They get hurt. It's not just a dance, Clara. It's the world. It's real." The reality of his words hung heavily in the air, a reminder of the hardships that had shadowed their family for so long. Clara could see the worry etched on his face, but she also saw the flicker of something more: love, care, a desire to protect. "Life is also about taking risks, Dad," Clara replied, stepping even closer, feeling the crack in his armor. "You taught us that. How could you brush off Lily's dreams so easily? Don't you want her to be brave?" Mr. Harrington hesitated. He looked into Clara's eyes, and in that moment, she recognized the struggle within him. He was fighting a war between love and fear, wanting to shield his daughters from the pain he had endured, yet also wanting them to fly free. "I just want what's best for you both," he finally murmured, the defiance wavering. "Then let her try," Clara urged, her heart aching to break through. "Let us face this together. We can't know what's best unless we take a chance. You took a chance, right? That's how we got here. The words hung in the air, a tender invitation for Mr. Harrington to see beyond his fears. Clara risked everything in that moment, pushing against the tide of dread that filled their space. She sensed Lily shifting beside her, her small hand reaching for their father. "Daddy, I want to dance," Lily's voice quivered, small yet filled with pure intent. "Please believe in me like you used to." Mr. Harrington's face softened. His brows furrowed, as if wrestling with the echoes of his past. Clara held her breath, desperately hoping he would lean into the warmth of his daughter's aspirations rather than retreat into shadows. Maybe just a few classes," he suggested slowly, the facade of a strong father cracking ever so slightly. "Yes." Lily squealed, her eyes sparkling with possibility. "But I'll need to see you both commit," he added, a hint of hesitation still in his tone. Clara felt a rush of excitement. This could be the beginning. A chance for their family to stand together against the world that had often tried to pull them apart. Suddenly, the theater around them seemed alive again, the applause and cheers returning in Clara's mind, a kaleidoscope of dreams waiting to be embraced. But tucked behind that thrill was a darker shadow, a whisper of doubt that lingered. Would this fragile pact be enough to combat the deeper fears that still resided in Mr. Harrington's heart? "Can you trust us, Dad?" Clara asked, the edge of uncertainty sharpening her tone. The air was electric with possibilities, but only time would reveal if they could truly break free. As Clara and Lily exchanged hopeful glances, she felt a shift in the atmosphere. Was this a turning point, or merely the start of another struggle? Clara couldn't shake the thought that they were sailing into uncharted waters. Would this bold step be their salvation, or were they merely grasping at thin air? The following week felt like a dream. Clara and Lily arrived at the studio, hearts racing and fingers intertwined, as they stepped into the warm, vibrant space filled with swirling dancers and the continuous beat of music. The walls were covered in mirrors, and the scent of fresh wood and sweat enveloped them. Clara tried to shake off the weight of her father's lingering doubts and instead embraced the rhythm of hope. "Just remember, Lily, it's about having fun," Clara said, watching Lily's face light up like a sparkler. Her excitement was infectious, and it chased away the gnawing anxieties that had shadowed Clara since their conversation with Mr. Harrington. The first class was a whirlwind of movement and melody, each step carrying the girls further from fear and closer to something beautiful. As they danced, Clara couldn't help but notice how Lily's confidence bloomed. With every spin and leap, Lily was shedding layers of doubt, replacing them with grace and self-assuredness. Clara felt a surge of pride, and her own heart joined in, bursting with an electric energy that made her feel alive, but beneath the joy, Clara felt a nagging worry: had they made the right choice? She glanced across the room to see the dance instructor guiding an advanced class, her elegant demeanor contrasting sharply with the uncertainty that swirled in Clara. She stole quick glances at Lily, who was blissfully absorbed in the music and movement. Clara's heart twisted at the thought of her sister falling, of facing the harsh world that their father had tried so hard to shield them from. At the end of class, after a flurry of joyful giggles, Lily rushed over, breathless and radiant. "Clara! Did you see me? I felt like I was flying." "That was magnificent, Lily," Clara exclaimed, her enthusiasm wrapping around her sister like a warm blanket. "You're a natural." Yet, as excitement filled the air, Clara couldn't shake the sensation of watching their father's expression flicker in her mind. Even now, he was probably at home, working late hours, burdened with concerns that were worlds away from the dance studio. Clara had crossed the bridge, but they still needed to bring him along, somehow. "Let's tell Dad all about it when we get home," Clara said, her smile faltering slightly. "He'll want to hear everything." The thought brought her comfort, but also a new worry: would the honest enthusiasm of their experience be enough to silence his fears? When they finally arrived home, Clara took a deep breath. Mr. Harrington was sitting in the living room, the dim light casting shadows across his weary face. He looked up, his eyes flickering between exhaustion and curiosity. "Hey, how was dance class?" he asked, though Clara could see the remnants of doubt lingering in his gaze. "It was amazing, Dad," Lily chimed in, her voice bubbling. "I learned so much. I even tried some leaps." Mr. Harrington smiled, and Clara held her breath, hoping for more than just a polite reaction. "That's great to hear, sweet pea," he replied softly, his tone slightly more relaxed than earlier. But Clara sensed he was still holding back, unsure of how to move forward with the newfound discovery they were all trying to embrace. "Dad, we'll practice every day," Clara added, her voice strong. "This could be the start of something wonderful for us." As they tried to paint vivid pictures of their experiences, a silence emerged, thicker than before, weighing heavily on Clara's heart. How could they bridge this gap? "Just believing in you both, it's harder than I thought," he finally admitted, the cracks in his armor painfully apparent. Caught between the joy of her sister's excitement and the worry on their father's face, Clara felt the world compressing around her. Could they turn this moment into a turning point? Or would they all fall again as their father feared? Clara glanced at Lily, who was finding a rhythm in their conversation, momentarily joyous in their connection. But uncertainty tugged at Clara's heart like an unfurling storm. Would you be willing to join us for a practice session, Dad? Just once? Please?" The question struck like a chord, echoing in the silence around them. Would he say yes, or retreat into the shadows of fear that haunted him? Mr. Harrington paused, the silence stretching like a taut string ready to snap. His gaze drifted toward the window, looking out at the fading light of day. Clara held her breath. She could see the gears turning in his mind, weighing options against worries. Finally, he turned back to them. "You really think I'd be any good?" His voice was laced with vulnerability, a hint of the sorrow he fought daily, and Clara's heart ached in response. "Yes!" Lily exclaimed, her round eyes filled with hope. "It would be so fun, Dad. You could be our audience and teacher." Clara met her sister's excited gaze, gathering courage. "It doesn't matter if you dance like a pro or just join us for a laugh. We just want you to be part of it, Dad." His smile was faint, almost hesitant. "I haven't danced since a long time." The admission hung in the air between them, full of emotions that had been hidden for too long. "Neither have we," Lily chirped, bouncing on her toes. "It's all about having fun, right, Clara?" Mr. Harrington chuckled softly, and for a moment, the weight of their worries seemed lighter. "Okay," he finally said, a hint of resolve creeping into his voice. "Just a practice session. But you both better not laugh if I mess up." Cheers erupted in the room. Clara pulled Lily into a tight embrace, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Dad. You won't regret this." With renewed energy, Clara quickly gathered their dance clothes and cleared a space in the living room. The coffee table was shoved aside, and soon there was enough room for them to move. It felt electric, like the room was buzzing with potential. Clara took the lead and set the playlist to their favorite upbeat song. The familiar beat pulsed like their hearts, and she gestured for the family to set their places. "All right, let's start with the basics, just follow my lead." With uncertainty parked at the door, they began to move. At first, Mr. Harrington lurked on the edge, his arms stiff and movements awkward. Clara wanted to reach out and ease his embarrassment, but instead, she focused on the music. As the rhythm filled the room, she noticed something shift in him. The tension began to melt, and soon he was laughing, hesitant steps slowly transforming into gentle swaying. "See? You're doing it, Dad," Clara encouraged, her heart soaring as she watched him let go, smile spreading. Even Lily was attempting some exaggerated spins, her giggles lifting the atmosphere higher. Soon, Mr. Harrington managed a little twirl of his own, the joy radiating from him like sunlight. Clara felt a flicker of hope ignite inside her. Was this the first step toward healing their fractured family? As the song ended, they stopped, breathless and smiling. Clara's heart raced with excitement, but underneath that, a flicker of doubt lingered almost like a shadow. Would this simple moment lead to more? Would their father truly embrace this new side of himself? "Can we do this again?" Mr. Harrington asked, wiping sweat from his brow, still grinning. "Absolutely," Clara said, barely containing her excitement. But as they stood there, enveloped in their shared laughter, an unsettling thought passed through Clara's mind. Would their little joyful bubble burst when faced with the reality of life outside these four walls? "Just remember," Clara said, her voice firm but gentle, "this is just the beginning." But would it be enough to open their father's heart, enough to banish the fears that still clung to his spirit? As the night deepened, Clara couldn't shake the feeling that they stood on the edge of something important, a crossroad that could lead to either a breakthrough or a painful return to silence. And as that tension hung delicately in the air, Clara couldn't help but wonder what would happen when reality collided with this delicate moment of joy. The following weeks were a blur of music and laughter. Every evening, Clara and Lily climbed over the old wooden couch, their excitement palpable as Mr. Harrington joined them in the dance sessions. The living room transformed into a sacred space, echoing with their joyful chaos. Bits of discarded laundry and scattered toys did little to hinder their movements. This was their sanctuary, a pocket of happiness disconnected from the outside world. One evening, as Clara spun around to face her father, she noticed something remarkable. Mr. Harrington's eyes sparkled with a youthful exuberance. The weight he carried felt slightly lighter, replaced by laughter that cascaded around them like confetti. The way he let go of his inhibitions, it was breathtaking. "Okay, everyone. Let's try something new," Clara exclaimed. A little mischievous, she suggested, "How about some hip-hop?" "Lily, show Dad that move you learned from school." Lily jumped up, her energy infectious. "You can do it, Dad. Just watch me." She demonstrated a clumsy, exaggerated move that sent Clara into fits of giggles, and even Mr. Harrington couldn't help but laugh. With some hesitant steps, Mr. Harrington attempted the move. His attempts were clumsy, and yet intertwined with a childlike eagerness that made everyone beam. Clara felt her heart swell with joy. The barriers he had built around himself began to crack, like the winter ice giving way to spring's tender embrace. "I feel ridiculous," he admitted, still chuckling breathlessly when the song ended. "But you're also dancing," Clara pointed out, her voice bright. "That's all that matters." As the song transitioned into a softer melody, Clara felt the moment shift. They collapsed onto the floor, breathless and elated. Yet, in the silence that followed, Clara sensed an undercurrent of urgency. "Dad," she began cautiously, the words much heavier than the lightness of their laughter, "this is really important about what's been happening in our lives." He looked at her, brow furrowed as if the weight of the world had suddenly returned. "What do you mean, Clara?" "I mean that dance is more than just a series of moves." She hesitated, searching his eyes for clarity. "It's helped us, all of us, open up. I think it can help you too. We want to talk, to understand, to connect." Mr. Harrington shifted uneasily, glancing at Lily, who had busied herself with her toys but still watched their conversation with innocent curiosity. "We don't have to talk if you're not ready," Clara added gently. "I just want us to be a family again, to share everything, even the hard parts." A look crossed his face, one of both fear and desperate longing. It was there for just a moment but disappeared as quickly as it had come. "I want that too," he said finally, voice delicate. "But what if we don't try, we'll never know," Clara interjected, her heart racing. Just then, a single tear rolled down Mr. Harrington's cheek. It was raw, real, and filled with all the sorrow he had tucked away for so long. "I don't know how," he whispered. The moment hung between them, tethered by the unspoken pain of lost years. Clara reached out, placing her hand over his, creating a lifeline in the turbulent sea of his emotions. "We can do it together, Dad," she whispered. "Just take the first step." Clara felt the heaviness lift slightly, but the path ahead still felt daunting. How did one truly heal a heart so weathered? Would the dance sessions be enough to bridge the chasm? And just as the uncertainty loomed large, they heard a soft knock at the door, followed by a rush of muffled voices. Clara could hardly believe her eyes as she glanced toward the entry. Who could be interrupting their precious moment? As the door creaked open wide behind her father, her heart flickered with both excitement and dread. What new chapter was about to unfold? The door swung open to reveal Angela, their neighbor from 2 houses down, standing with a basket filled to the brim with freshly baked cookies. Her thick glasses perched on her nose and her curly hair bounced as she stepped inside, oblivious to the tension that hung in the air. "Hey, everyone. I come bearing gifts." Clara felt the moment shift again, but instead of annoyance, she found relief. Angela's warm presence brought an unspoken comfort, a reminder of the community they were a part of. "Angela." Clara beamed, her own worries easing. "What a surprise." Mr. Harrington wiped the tear hastily from his cheek, putting on a half-smile. "Yeah, a wonderful surprise." Angela looked from Clara to Mr. Harrington, an eyebrow raised, and sensing something unsaid. "I could smell these cookies from down the street. Mind if I join your little dance party?" "Absolutely." Lily squealed, her face lighting up as she lunged for a cookie. "Can we dance after?" "Of course, after a cookie break." Angela laughed, easing the tension even further. As they gathered around the coffee table, the cookies became their shared focus. Freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, warm and gooey, filled the room with a familiar, homey scent. Mr. Harrington took one, the worry lines on his forehead slowly smoothing out. "Maybe I should take notes from you, Angela," he said, his voice lighter. "Baking seems to bring people together." "Or dancing," Clara chimed in, elbowing Lily playfully. The giggles bubbled up once again, as laughter wrapped itself around them like a warm embrace. Angela shared stories about her own childhood, filled with dancing in the kitchen and impromptu gatherings that had lasted late into the night. She spoke with such passion that it was contagious. Clara, trying to soak up every word, felt a flicker of hope that maybe things could change for the better. After finishing the cookies, Clara glanced at her father. "Dad, could we try that dance again? The one from earlier? Right now?" Mr. Harrington asked, his brow arching in playful disbelief, but Clara sensed a glint of willingness in his eyes. "Yes. We have an audience." Clara pointed to Angela, who nodded enthusiastically. With a hesitant yet excited breath, Mr. Harrington rose from the couch. This time, he took Clara's hand instead of the childlike joy on his face vanishing like smoke. They positioned themselves in front of Lily's toy-filled living room, where laughter melded into a rhythm that hung suspended in the air. Together, they stumbled through the steps, each misstep and awkward twist only adding to the laughter that echoed. For a split second, Clara thought she saw a glimpse of the man he once was. A man who had danced with her mother, a man who could let loose despite the world outside their little bubble. But amidst the joy, Clara couldn't shake the feeling that something was still waiting to be unveiled. What was her father hiding? Could he truly find the courage to face whatever it was? As the song wound down and they flopped back onto the couch, Clara couldn't help but feel a little twinge of apprehension for what lay ahead. Before she could dwell on it further, another knock sounded, this one louder, firmer. Angela glanced toward the door, her eyebrows raised in surprise. Who could that be? She wondered aloud, curiously inching toward it. Clara's heart raced at the thought of who or what awaited them on the other side. Would this new interruption unravel the threads they had just begun to weave? Or would it push her father further away just when he was starting to open up? The question hung thick in the air as she held her breath, awaiting whatever revelation awaited just beyond the door. The door swung open again, and in walked a familiar figure, Mrs. Harrington, with her long, elegant coat trailing behind her like the memories of happier times. Clara's heart leapt. The air seemed to shift with a new energy, as if the universe had conspired to bring the missing piece back into their tangled puzzle. "Mom!" Lily squealed, her eyes widening with delight. Clara felt a rush of emotions at the sight of her mother, their mother, the woman whose absence had stitched wounds into the fabric of their lives. "We're having a dance party." Mrs. Harrington's surprised gaze scanned the room, landing on the half-eaten cookies and the remnants of their chaotic joy. It was a moment suspended in time, silence wrapping its arms around them. Would she recoil or step forward? Clara held her breath, hoping desperately for the latter. As if her unspoken wish drew her mother in, Mrs. Harrington smiled, the corners of her lips lifting with a spark of life. "Oh, how wonderful!" she exclaimed, including everyone in her bright enthusiasm. "May I join?" "Absolutely," Clara said, feeling the warmth of hope swell within her, the kind that could ignite even the dimmest of spirits. A flurry of energy crackled around them, transforming the living room once again into a lively stage. Before Clara could steady the excitement in her heart, they were moving together, Clara, Lily, their mother, and even Mr. Harrington, now fully enjoying the depths of their improvised dance. The music soared, emptying their hearts of the burdens they had carried for so long. Laughter rang through the walls like bells of freedom, echoing against years of distance. Mrs. Harrington was graceful as she glided across the floor, matching her daughter's clumsy attempts with elegance and ease. For the first time in what felt like years, Clara saw the joy return to her mother's eyes, unhindered and pure. Everything they had longed for, the family, the connection, was blossoming right there in that moment, but just as her heart began to feel unblemished, Clara remembered the shadow still lurking in her father's eyes. She glanced at him, noticing how he had brought his arms around Lily to mirror the playful movements of their mother, yet she sensed the hesitance still clinging to him tightly. "Dad," she called out above the music, "this is your moment too. Dance with us." The music slowed to a gentle rhythm as Mrs. Harrington grasped Mr. Harrington's hand, urging him toward the center of their makeshift stage. Clara felt the optimism surging through her heart, and she watched as, at last, he gave in. With a childlike smile teetering on his face, Mr. Harrington stepped into the space his daughters and wife created. Clara held her breath, nervous yet hopeful, inching toward their family's unspoken bonds. Would they leap over the fear that still tried to pull them apart? As they danced together, Clara felt the magic of healing weave through their movements. Slowly, Mr. Harrington's steps became less rigid. As their laughter intertwined with each soft note, the uncertainty began to dissipate. Here, they were defined not by their past but by their resolve to face a better future. "What's wrong?" Mrs. Harrington whispered to him, noticing the flash of worry that danced behind his eyes. "Why do you hesitate?" "Nothing, it's just," his voice was quiet, threading in and out with the music. "I'm scared." Clara's heart sank. It felt like being punched in the gut, hearing her father admit his vulnerability, but it also filled her with a fierce sense of determination. "You don't have to be. We're all here for you," Clara said, voicing the invitation for connection. "Let us face it together. Remember how we used to dream?" Mr. Harrington took a deep breath, letting Clara's words wash over him. It was as if he was randomly piecing together the fragments of their shared life. Slowly, he nodded and looked around. "You're right," he finally said, his voice steadying. "I can't shield myself from what scares me. I want to be part of your dreams, our dreams." And just like that, Clara felt the delicate threads of their past begin to weave into a new narrative. Laughter bubbled in their eyes as they danced, uniting them in their pursuit of healing. Clara's heart brimmed with warmth. It was there in the simple melody, in the laughter surrounding them, that they all found their way back to each other. "Let us not stop now," she said with a radiant smile, "let us keep dancing. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning." As their bodies moved in tandem, Clara felt the ties of a family so badly frayed begin to knit together, the love they held for one another transforming into something stronger than any obstacle they faced. They were not just dancing, they were embracing a new reality where dreams and fears coexisted, where laughter triumphed over silence, and above all, where they could truly be a family again. As the last note of the music faded into a gentle silence, Clara squeezed her mother's hand, her father's arm tightening around her, and Lily bursting with joy at the center of their worlds. They had entered a new chapter, one filled with hope, courage, and the promise of an unbreakable bond, and as Clara looked around at the faces she adored, she whispered into the stillness, "Together, we can do anything." Now is the time for you to join in on this journey of inspiration. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will touch your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm so more people can experience these life-changing transformations. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let's spread the love, the joy, and the magic of connection together. Your support matters now more than ever.